Most of our clients are well-funded private high-tech companies and startups.
Robert, welcome to the show. I am very excited to learn about Kohler Law. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it very much.
So, of course, and let's talk about you're not just another law firm. You've got a unique business model. You saw something that others didn't see a long time ago. There might have been others that had copied you since, but tell me about the business model behind Kohler Law and why you started.
I've always been a high-tech guy myself. I personally founded and sold a number of high-tech companies myself, but Kohler Law has always been a focus on high-tech. And so what we do, what fits in so well with public companies like Meta, Splunk, Zappos, a number of others, and most of our clients are well-funded private high-tech companies and startups love us too because all Kohler Law attorneys have a minimum of 25 years practicing high-tech business law. Most have more like 30 plus. Like myself, they made a lot of money in the past. They work from home. So our billable rate is incredibly low, no juniors whatsoever. Currently, it's only $545 an hour. So that's why we fit in so well. It's so inexpensive, and these big public companies and well-funded privates and startups love us so much because it's so inexpensive. That's what we've always done. And all my attorneys, as I mentioned, were previously general counsel for multi-million dollar companies.
Yeah, and I saw that on your website that part of what you're able to do is keep your overhead low. So talk about
Exactly.
that. Tell me about like what it is your structure that helps make sure that the overhead is low so that when a client does need you, they can do it affordably.
Correct. So it's always a one-on-one with the attorney that they've met previously. That's how it's always worked. We don't move around with attorneys, so it's always a one-on-one relationship with the 25 plus, most likely 30 plus year attorney. If they go on vacation or not well, then maybe it goes to another attorney. But typically, it's always a one-on-one with the same attorney that gets to know the client extremely well at such a low billable rate.
Gotcha. And you're doing things like employment agreements, intellectual property advice.
Contracts. Basically, that's what we do. And sometimes if it's outside of our attorney's reach, we'll say, go back to your big firm. No big deal. But for the day-to-day related, business-related legal needs, that's what we do so well and so inexpensively.
What you don't do is ever pair someone off with someone who's a bit more junior. It's always these attorneys with their own track record. So, can you talk about maybe some work you've done or success stories you've had with different clients?
Well, that's why big companies like Meta, Splunk, Zappos, these other really well-funded public companies with a ton of internal legal staff already come to us because we're so inexpensive and they're not there dealing with a junior attorney. They're only dealing with a 30 plus year attorney doing the day-to-day the legal requirements needed at such a low billable rate. That's really where we fit in so well. And but to be honest, we have clients all over the world. When I was practicing law, which I'm not doing anymore because I made a ton of money already, but when we did, I had flown to Australia a number of times, to Paris a few times. It was great. But my attorneys will do the same thing. They'll fly wherever the attorney needs them, and they'll fly there. But typically, they're in the United States and in Canada. But we have clients all over the world.
Some of those big names that you mentioned might scare off some of the startups that, maybe are only Series A, Series B. Talk to me about that, how you can really work with those clients in addition to the really big ones.
Well, the big ones, I just named those because everyone knows their name. But most likely, our clients, or more typically rather, they're a well-funded private high-tech company or they even startups because we're so inexpensive and they're not dealing with a junior whatsoever. It's always a one-on-one that they get to know and they say, thumbs up, this is a great person. And that's why that's at our such an inexpensive rate. That's why we work so well. That's simple as that, because as I previously mentioned, but I'll repeat it, my attorneys have made a lot of money in the past. They all work from home like myself. So we don't have the overhead that big firms do. That's another reason we just pass that on to the client. That's why we're so inexpensive.
Gotcha.
And there's
It's
no,
all
as I'll say it 1 to 10, there's never junior working for Kohler Law. It's always
gotcha.
the highly experienced attorney.
Right. A retainer sort of situation, right? That
Mhm.
These clients will use you and work with your attorney you've paired them with in a way that makes sense for them when they have something that they need. So talk more through that kind of process of how that works.
Well, we'll give them a very honest opinion if they can handle the work that they require. So sometimes we'll say that's outside of our league and go back to the big firm, pay more money, but that's not a problem. We don't do anything that we cannot handle. So as simple as that. Our attorneys are very honest. I mean, Kohler Law is very honest if it says thumbs up, or yeah, we can do that at such an inexpensive rate. Or, nah, that's a little bit outside of my own intelligence. So go to the big firm, not a problem. Come back to us when you have something else.
Gotcha. And you mentioned earlier, you have other businesses, you've had other businesses,
Yes.
you have this kind of entrepreneurial mindset. How does that probably distinguish you versus some other lawyers, law firms?
Well, I fought through it. I thought through it and had a number of employees working for me, and they did very well because I pick and choose. But they were very successful companies, and I came up with the thought of exactly what's required to flip a company, and that's what I did very well myself. So, but I'm not doing that anymore because I made a lot of money, and as I mentioned, I can't wait to move to Tahoe because I love skiing and boarding.
Right. Yeah, but the one thing I'm sure you really get is that some of these founders, CEOs, what they don't have is a lot of time to screw around, right? And
Correct.
so you're able to get in there, kind of be nimble. Talk to me about what that process is like when you're trying to figure out because there are going to be some clients that don't make sense for you for a variety of reasons, right? How do you figure that out? I know that you have on your website an invitation that folks can jump on a discovery call with you.
Yeah.
What does that usually look like? What are you talking about? What kind of questions are you asking? How's that work?
It's pretty simple, basically. I say, our attorneys are highly experienced, no juniors, at such a low billable rate. As simple as that. And name off some of the publicly traded clients because everyone knows their name and well funded private high tech companies. And so I'll just basically say exactly what I've sent on this meeting as well, how we fit in so well at such a low cost.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And they're only dealing with the 30-year former general counsel attorney. That's what we do.
Right. Yeah. So it's really very simple. And I think
It
what we've
is.
we've learned
Correct.
here is that you can work with the really big companies and help them with some of the great outcomes that they've had, including
Yeah.
I think Splunk was acquired by Cisco. Is that right? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
that's
right.
correct, and Splunk loved us, and
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I
sure
got
they
it.
do.
I think it's on my website as well. The wording from the general counsel there said Kohler Law was a fantastic firm. So that's and all of our attorneys do that. That's just something that was written to me from the general counsel there, and I said thumbs up.
Yeah, so you can work with the big guys, you
Yep,
can work with some smaller ones, you work in a way that as there are legal needs in these startups, that they have someone to go to, that it's not necessarily that you're their only legal help. You might be
correct.
supplemental to other legal help that they have, but
Yes.
you are more affordable is kind of what we've learned here and just
That's a
more
perfect way to
easily.
describe it. Because to be honest, most of our clients have a big law firm as well that they're working with and come to us to cut costs from not a junior doing the damn work. That's why we do.
Gotcha.
And it's such a low billable. I'm just building COLA law for all my attorneys, to be honest. That's what I do. I'm not, as I mentioned before, I'll say it again. I'm personally not practicing law anymore. I still am a California licensed attorney, but that's not what I'm doing day to day. I'm just building COLA law. I'll the first online meeting with a potential client, pitch them very well, then make the introduction to the appropriate co-law attorney. And typically it goes done deal, a retainer agreement be sent, and that's a new client. That's as simple as it goes.
Gotcha. Yeah, it totally makes sense. All right. Hey, Robert, this was simple, easy, exactly what I wanted to do in terms of
Good.
take your website that you can glean some interesting stuff off of,
You
but
can.
really kind of show the guy behind the company, talk about kind of what that client experience is. So I think we got that done here. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me. Very, very helpful.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate this a great deal.
Awesome. Have a great day, Robert.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.